Hello everybody, this is AlzaboHD and welcome back to the Stellaris Let's Play series. This is episode 5 of the Terrascian Union. Let's go ahead and get started. Last episode, for a quick recap, we have encountered the S20 hierarchy, who seem to be some sort of military dictatorship. We are going to maintain relations with them using our embassy. Perhaps later on we will conquer them, but for the time being, we need to forge ahead. This is our 5th episode and we're only 5 years in. This needs to change. We are going to go blaze through at the speed of light here, trying to develop our economy so that we can get our first colony ship up and running. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Before we do though, I have forgotten something I've forgotten to do this in our current Let's Play. I need to go ahead and select a new ship design. As our technology is ever exponentially improving, we need to improve our fleet. The best way to do this is to click on this button down here, the Auto Generate Designs. I did not think that I had enabled this previously, but I guess I have, so that's already okay. Now that being said, whenever we get a new technology, we can upgrade our fleet by using this button right here. But for the time being, we have a weak army, a very weak economy, and only one planet, so this all needs to change. That being said, we are going to go ahead and go by as fast as we can. So let's see, our docile creatures, hunting them would be a net loss anyways, that's okay. Our science ship is going to continue surveying, our construction ship is still doing absolutely nothing, and we've got yet another ship in our fleet. We're going to go ahead and send this fleet out to attack some aliens. We need to clean the, surrounding area of where our empire will no doubt expand in order to clear the way for our science ship to survey the systems. Speaking of which, our survey ship is now surveying Gothora. Although I can't always pronounce these names, I certainly do my best to try. Diplomatic communication from Lettuce Industries. So, they've established us as their rival, which means that our embassy is useless. So let's go ahead and declare them as a rival as well. So first we have to recall our embassy, and then we can declare them as rival. That's fine. This will give us more influence per month, which is always a good thing. So that's great. Our ship is now heading into the Sargas system. As soon as we get there, we will go ahead and clear the system out of alien hostiles. So here we go. Let's go ahead and see what we are up against here. Okay, so this system is probably not going to be possible for us to clean out just yet. Our navy is pitiful in strength in comparison to theirs, so we should probably back off for the moment. Now, unfortunately, we need to go ahead and get a colony ship up and running as fast as possible because our system only contains 6 power and 6 minerals, which by itself is pretty good, but due to the fact that we have no other solar systems in our domain, we need to expand, and expand we will. So that being said, let's go ahead and clear out the system of Venjum if we can, as this is where I'm going to set up our first, planet over here on the planet of Venjum 2. It's got 22 tiles, which is fantastic. It's a bit bigger than I believe our own home system in Solus, which is, just going to double check really fast, only 16 tiles. So the more tiles you have on your planet, the more space that you can send your workers into, the better it is. So another thing that I have forgotten to mention, Raphael, who is one of my subscribers, has given me a great tip. He says that due to the fact that we are collectivist and decadent, we are missing out on our yields here, of course, as I mentioned in previous episodes. Due to the fact that we are decadent, see, we are only getting 1.8 food and 1.8 minerals for each tick here. So we need to enslave our own population. Now, what is more dystopian than enslaving your own population? Well, not that much, I must say. Let's go ahead and enslave them and see how this affects their happiness. Enslave. Yeah, so now we're getting the full amount of mineral boost. We're going from plus 13 a turn to, well, we're going to find out in a minute how much this helps us out here. So yes, enslave our own population. I believe we could do this for the food too, or for power. I can't really exactly remember which one is which. Collected by pop. Let's go ahead and just double check right here. Okay, so it looks like the energy credits are not affected by decadence, which is good. Are food affected by decadence in any way? Doesn't look like it. Interesting. So it looks like just minerals for the time being. Again, if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comment box below. So we're just going to enslave our mining network, I guess, citizens for the time being. Of course, that will change later on, no doubt. But for the time being, that is totally acceptable. So let's go ahead and get our fleet over into the Vengeum system. Let's see if we can clear the system for our science ship. And then we will send out a colony ship over there as soon as we get there. So we got a new faction due to the fact that we've enslaved parts of our own population. Looks like they're okay. 10% support. How exactly does this work? This is the first time I've actually came into contact with a faction. Manage faction. One pop. All right, well, we'll deal with that later. It looks like they're okay. They're happy. Again, we're collectivists, so we get some sort of boost to enslaving different types of species, even our own species, which is kind of amusing. It seems kind of funny that our society would just tolerate the enslavement of our own kind, but that's okay. This is, again, the Terrascian Union, so, you know, we don't really care about our own species. This is a totalitarian communist dictatorship, so, again, we don't really care too much about that type of stuff. So here we go. We are warp driving our way into Vengeum. Let's go ahead and see if we can clear the system or if it's chock full of space amoebas. Well, there are some space amoebas here, but not enough for us to run into any problems. These are actually not space amoebas. I misspoke. These are mining drones. So let's go ahead and attack them, and we will see our ship engage in glorious combats. Of course, very, very quickly, as we are on the fastest setting. We're going to drop them to the floor. We've lost one ship, but that's okay. We can always rebuild some more. Always a good thing. Let's go ahead and take out that mining station as well. Gives access to the Drone Bounty Empire Edict. Ends the Mining Drone Analyst event chain. Okay, well, don't really have a choice. Energy credits. This is from our anomaly. We gained almost 200 energy. That's fantastic. We will certainly need that once we develop the colony ship. So that is all good. Let's go ahead and double check our fight here. Fight is a little bit more than half in our favor. If you check this bar over here, this will show you how the fight is currently going. So we've only lost one ship. We need to repair the remaining ships. That is okay. They're going to go head back into our home system, where we will rebuild yet another corvette. Now, that being said, colony ships are now unlocked, which is fantastic. Let's go ahead and research orbital hydroponic farms. We can add these as little add-ons to our orbital space stations, which is always a very, very cool feature. Now, with that being said, we have one-time project. I believe it's debris. Yeah, it's debris. We can handle that later in the Vengeum system. But for now, let's go ahead and unpause the game and head back to our home system, where we will repair our navy and probably go ahead and make yet another corvette. I like round numbers. I don't know about you guys. I don't want you to have 7 corvettes. That's pretty pathetic. Let's go ahead and build another corvette while we are at it. So that being said, we need to save our minerals. I'm not going to spend my minerals on anything else for the time being until we can afford a colony ship at 315. And actually, let's go ahead and cancel that corvette. It's very important that we more or less likely pump out this colony ship as fast as we can. This is because our rival empire is at the same technological level as we are. Their borders are expanding incredibly quickly, and if we don't act on these systems very soon, they will, and they'll take it for their empire. So we need to stop that from happening. We need to make sure we get there first and beat them to the punch. So our fleet is going back to repair. Got some research complete over here. Let's go ahead and double check to see what that was. Agustina Martinez, very, very good. Let's go ahead and work on, let's see, we can increase our power infrastructure. We can increase our FTL drives. We can increase the survey speed of our science ships. What should we do here? For the time being, I'm going to go with the upgrading our ships. We need to upgrade our ships as much as possible in order to increase our military power, so that way we can take out these space amoebas that are plaguing our neighboring solar systems, neighboring galaxies, right? So with that being taken care of, our science ship is still surveying, and we've got nothing to do here for the next minute or so while I fast forward, waiting for this colony ship once again. System survey complete. Now that's been taken care of, why don't we go ahead and fast forward here and send in our ship into the Vengeum system, where our first extra solar planet will go. Now, something of particular note in this game, if you don't want your science ship to run away from any system that currently has enemies in it, set your fleet to passive. It is incredibly important that it is not set to evasive, otherwise your ship will turn tail and run at any hostile, I guess, space amoeba or alien empire that's in the system. And this is annoying because 9 times out of 10 your science ship will be able to jump through their FTL drives before those enemies even engage you. So it's really, really important to set your science and construction ships to passive. That's something that I guess I didn't really learn earlier on in this Let's Play when we lost all of that money to the fact that our construction ship was working on a mining station and ran away when a space cow came into the system. Don't make the same mistake as I did. Make sure that you set these ships to passive. So, for the time being, again, we don't have that much to do. We're waiting for 350 minerals before we get the ability to send out a colony ship. We do have some unemployment problems on Terrascia. That is a serious problem. This pop is unemployed. Consider putting it to work to increase efficiency. So I guess they're unemployed when their tile produces nothing. What do we need right now? Let's go ahead and double check. Food would certainly help. Let's go ahead and... How much would this cost? 37? We do need to improve the food supply on our planet, but we also need to improve our mineral supply. So why don't we go ahead and make this... We can really make this anything. We'll make it a hydroponics farm for the moment, so this guy is not unemployed. He'll work on some food to feed our slaves. That's always a good thing. So how is our science ship doing? Again, he is almost in the Vinjum system. Our research for geothermal fracking has finished. Let's go ahead and select something new. This time we are going to work on, well, we could work on robots. This is a population that you can build pretty much in any planet. Very, very useful. But I think instead, I would rather work on nanomechanics to get the engineering facilities for our planets. That's very, very useful to have. So that being said, our science ship is now surveying the Vinjum system. Hopefully, some bountiful resources are there so that we can exploit it as soon as our planet goes up. Now, with that being said, as soon as our colony goes up, I'd like to set up a frontier outpost in Yidden. And I'm not going to do that just right now because that costs 200 minerals up front, and I'd rather set up a planet than a frontier colony. And if the S20 hierarchy takes it before I do, well, then so be it. I certainly tried. There's some space amoebas going through our space, but nothing too serious. And in 2 months, we will be able to forward our first colony ship, which is just fantastic. Let's double check Solus really fast. Right, so now our pop is no longer unemployed, which is good news. And now that our civilians are enslaved, we are producing even more minerals, which is always a great thing. The final rest, let's see. By what the Columbus actually managed to pinpoint the source of the odd signal as if it secured We could get 90 societal research or a little bit of everything. Let's study the corpse. Why not, right? That seems like the most probable outcome here. Speaking of which, here comes our first colony ship, and wow, it's actually cheaper than I thought. For some reason, I thought it was 350 minerals, so that was my bad. I could have made it a little bit faster, but that's okay. While we wait, we could go ahead and clean out some tiles here in Terrascia. I'm probably going to opt to clean out some energy tiles. It's always a useful thing to clear out. And afterwards, we can clear out these slums as soon as we can afford it, which might actually be a little while. Well, just 2 or 3 more turns. Nothing we can't handle. While our Earth is, or rather, while our planet is producing, busily producing a colony ship for us, which is fantastic. Now, that being said, as soon as I issue the clear order for these slums, we could go ahead and rearm our army. I was basically shoestringing our army, and just so that we can afford to make that colony ship as fast as possible. We're only 7 years into the game. That's a pretty fast colony ship, I have to say. I do have another game that I'm currently 30 or 40 years into, and we already have like 9 or 8 planets on that save, but we're already off to a very, very good start here, guys. This is going to be a very, very good series, I have a feeling. More or less likely, we will be able to claim all of this territory in the name of the Terrascian Union. But I get ahead of myself. We need to go ahead and get our first colony ship up and running before I talk about future plans here. So what should we opt to unlock here? Frontier clinics are good because they increase the habitability of a planet. Those are always very useful to take. Planetary unification is also really good because this gives us monthly influence, and farming 60s is also really good as well. I'm going to take the planetary unification because +1 influence a month is fantastic. There's not a lot of ways to get monthly influence, so this is definitely a good thing. And speaking of influence, how do you use influence in this game in Stellaris? Well, there's a few different ways you can use it. One is by setting an edict in one of your planets, which I'm going to show you guys how to do right now. Now, some of these, as you guys can see, like this Land of Opportunity one is worthless for us because we're collectivist. This makes this planet very attractive for migratory species, but because we are collectivists, these people will stay where I want them to stay. They're not going to move on their own, so that's completely useless. Ethics divergence, not very useful. We already have conformist, which gives us -20 ethics divergence already. Energy credits, that's pretty useful. Infrastructure projects, also definitely useful. And Spirit of Science, we're going to go with infrastructure projects just so that we can get our building costs kind of reduced here a little bit while we focus on Terrascia. Now, that being said, after our colony ship is constructed, we're going to go ahead and order the construction of yet another corvette to add to our fleets. And once we upgrade our spaceport, we will be able to begin hiring other types of ships, which is going to be an interesting thing to do. Now, that being said, the Vinjum system has been scouted out. It's decent. I mean, we get 2 energy credits, 2 minerals, and 2 society research. Not as good as I would like it, but that's okay. Largely, it's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and scout out the adjacent systems. This one doesn't seem to have any type of enemies, so we're going to go directly over there. And in preparation of the colony, we're going to go ahead and send our construction ship into Vinjum. At least that is the plan. Get them nice and ready for that. Now, while we are waiting for that colony ship, let's go back into Terrascia and check out what is going on the surface. We can go and upgrade the mining network, which will increase our mineral income, which is always a very, very good thing. Let's go ahead and work on that. We've already cleared out the slums as well, so we're going to go ahead and move this pop over to... What do we need more, food or power? Well, we're not really in need of power. We have plenty of resource credits already saved up, so that's okay. Of course, once this colony ship is out and ready, it's going to drain our energy, just like so. Gives us a -8, I believe. So we need to make sure that we get that colony ship up and running on that planet as fast as possible. So here we go. Colony ship is heading directly towards Vinjum. Let's go ahead and send a vanguard out to go in front. Although this is strange. The colony ship can't exactly go in the same direction, but that's probably because it's an evasive. Right, that's what it was. So we could make it go a little bit faster by going through some dangerous territory. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue, to be honest. But just to make sure here, we're going to send in our fleet at the same time. So that this way our colony ship and our fleet are warping. Hopefully I won't have to protect the colony ship, but our army is a little bit faster, so we'll get to the system before. We can kind of perhaps escort them quite a little bit. We're zooming ahead over here. Survey, we found some society research and credits because we've completed the surveil system of habitable planets, which is always a good thing. Found yet another anomaly. We have a 37% chance of risk, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and research it. 37%. I'm not a betting man, but that's not a bad probability there. Let's go and double check. The spaceport's finished making another ship. We're going to send it to Vinjum as well. That's fine. We're going to all meet up in Vinjum as soon as they get there. Alright, so our colony ship is making its slow and arduous journey on the way to Vinjum. Very, very, very slow. But we'll get there eventually, right? That's the idea anyways. As far as our construction ship is, I want to set up a observation post or a frontier outpost right here. But we need to survey the system first. We're working on that right now, I believe. So that's okay. That being said, our colony ship is en route to Vinjum. All tile blockers have been cleared from Dynama 4. That's good, I think. I don't think we can... Yeah, there's no continental worlds over here, but maybe eventually that might be a good thing. We'll see. But now that our colony system, or now that our colony ship is in the correct system, we are going to colonize our first planet, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second world that the Terrascian Union is going to settle. Now we have to choose where our planetary administration building will be selected. I believe this doesn't really matter, but it's always good to put it in a place where there are 4 tiles that surround it. This is called the adjacency effect, and basically all of the 4 tiles that surround your building will get improved yields, which is always a good thing. I believe in both minerals, food, science, and power. So let's put it kind of in the middle. Of course, we do have some tile blockers here, but it will help out with the tile below it and above it for the time being. So we're going to go ahead and hit colonize and get our colony ship up and running. And as soon as it does get up and running, we can go ahead and start constructing outposts and things of that sort over here, which is always a good thing. So with that being said, hostile fleets are present. Right. We're going to get all of our fleets over here in the orbit of Vengean 3. Let's go ahead and make it so. And hopefully before this episode ends, we can get that colony up. I believe we probably can. This is the best way to increase your economy, ladies and gentlemen. The more planets you get, the more minerals are directly shipped to your empire. And of course, this will also automatically expand the frontier and sovereign territory of our species as well. So it's always a good thing, a win-win situation if there ever was one. Pop up the civilian ship screen over here. Colony is currently being established. And as soon as it goes up, I do believe we have... Yes, so now you see that crimson red. The Terrascian Union is now in yet another solar system. Fantastic. So, our colony ship has gently touched down on the mouth of a large river delta. The ship has been permanently converted into the administrative headquarters of the new settlement, and its reactor core is in the process of being removed, so that it may serve as the colony's temporary power source. Hundreds of small tents and prefab shelters have sprung up around the former Starship's massive hull, blah, 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 blah. The first Terrascian city on an alien world. A great day for the Terrascian Union. Very, very good. Very, very good. Very impressive for us. Okay, so, that being said, let's go ahead and get to developing this star system, as we are now able to do so. An interesting thing to note is that, as with all colony ships, even when you are in the process of colonizing a planet, which we are currently, we still have a massive drain on our energy credit. Now, normally this would be a problem, but because we have in excess of 700 energy credits, it's seriously not even going to put a dent into our stockpile, so that's always a good thing. That being said, we want to go ahead and merge our 2 fleets together by pressing G, just like so. They've combined their power together. And now let's go ahead and clear some more systems while we wait. First one will be Tanobo, right next to the Vengeance system. Let's go ahead and clear it out. Always a good idea to clear systems out before you survey them. Of course, you don't want to put your science ships in any immediate danger. So we've got 2 researches completed. Let's go ahead and queue up the next one. Gonna opt for the solar panel network module. That's really, really good if we are in need of power later on. We can directly upgrade our spaceport to give us +3 power. Always a very good and safe option to choose. Over here with engineering, we are going to opt to take mineral processing for the time being. The defense platform is good, but we don't really want to play the defense game yet. We have no need. This is still the early game. We need to spend all of our resources in colonizing and claiming as much territory as possible, because in the mid to late game, almost all of this galaxy, well, actually all of the galaxy will be claimed by various empires. So we need to go ahead and get our teeth wet and get as much of that territory as we can right now, immediately. So our construction ship has already completed its first mining station over here in the new system. Let's go ahead and get another power station up. I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade all of these planets and stars. Get all mining and research stations up as fast as possible. So now we're getting a lot of influence per month, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and start making some frontier outposts as well. With that being said, though, the next research that we should work on, this one's, by the way, very, very good. It increases our border range. That's awesome. But I think it would be better if we got the naval capacity to increase our military by quite a bit. Speaking of our military, we need to go ahead and engage the crystalline entities over here. Kind of wipe them off the face of the galaxy. And clean this area up for scientific survey. So as good to see, very, very easy. Oh, and I forgot to mention something, but we don't actually have a leader assigned to our army. which is very, very bad. We need to immediately assign a leader as soon as this battle is over.
Situation log updated.
So you can assign a leader anywhere you are in Stellaris. This is not like other Paradox games like Europa Universalis, where you have to be in your own territory or to be in a port for an admiral. Nope, you can do it pretty much anywhere, even in outer space. Let's go and hire a young leader. We are going to go ahead and hire Heather Channing, who is pretty good. She's got sublight speed and evasion increases. Of course, this will cost influence, no problem. But it's good to have a leader because this will increase your combat efficiency. Just with one skill, which is the base skill, this already gives us a ship upkeep and fire rate bonus. Always a fantastic thing to see. And we're going to go ahead and move them to automatically repair themselves over in the solar system, where we will go ahead and order the construction of yet another Corvette to replace the one that we've lost in combat. Now, with that being said, our science ship over in Dorana is finished surveying the system, so let's go ahead and survey the one next to the Vengeance system. Now the episode's almost over. I'm going to wait until our planet is done colonizing before I do end the current episode. So fear not, I'm not going to end this off in an awkward stage of development, but so far we've done pretty well in this episode. Our infrastructure is increased, our minerals are increasing, we've got a second planet up and ready. Are almost up and ready, so that's always a good thing. Just go ahead and double check back in Terrascia to see if we can't do some things over here. We can. Let's go ahead and upgrade the mining network over here. Again, these are slaves, so their output is going to be unhindered, which is always a very, very good thing. I like how they belong to the Thrall faction. That is very, very cool flavor. I love it. There's my alarm, but we don't really care. Again, over here in the new system, I believe we have maybe 1 or 2 resources left to... That was it? Okay, that was it, yeah, because the actual city, or the actual planet of Gaoju, had some scientific research, but because we colonized it, it no longer offers that as a yield. So that's okay. We don't really mind. Instead, why don't we go ahead and set up a frontier outpost over here in Dunama? This is going to cost us 100 minerals. That's okay. We want to do this so that we can lock out the hierarchy from the system. And in the process, we'll gain all of these minerals that you see here added directly into our sovereign borders. Always a very, very good thing. So our colony is almost up, which is fantastic. We will research the anomaly, of course. And something of note, you can also make additional construction ships and science ships later on in the game to speed up your survey speeds and to speed up the construction of the various outposts and mining stations and research stations and observation posts that you will need in your empire. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So here we are. We're in Donorama. We're going to go ahead and set up the frontier outpost here, again, to block off the S20 hierarchy. And this is going to take a little while, and you'll notice that it also costs influence. Not only does it cost an upfront cost of, I believe, 200 influence, but it also costs 1 influence per month. So you can't have a lot of these frontier outposts up and running at the same time, unfortunately, because you will just have a massive drain on influence. And because influence is needed from everything from like hiring new leaders, for planetary edicts, you need this. This is a very vital resource, so you can't just go around wasting it on frontier outposts. But for the time being, the frontier outpost in the system will be a very, very solid investment. Now, our new planet, Gaozu. Very, very good planet. This has, I believe, 22 tiles, much bigger than our home planet, which only has 16 tiles, so a lot more land to work with. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of different planetary blockers that we will need to clear out later once we research the technology to do so, and we will not actually be able to upgrade the reassembled ship shelter into a planetary administration until we have a pop of 5, so we need to make sure that we kind of divide these pops up into working these food resources, and we might actually have to forcibly move some of our populations from Terrascia, but that's okay. We are collectivists. We are able to do that, no problem whatsoever, so that's a good thing. And over here, our slaves are producing quite a bit of minerals now, which is always also a good thing. Let's go ahead and unpause for the time being. We got a brand new situation thing, I believe. Let's go ahead and see what this is all about. Let's go ahead and track this on the map. It's right here. We're already here. Let's go ahead and research the project, if I can. Aha, so our scientist needs to be a little bit So he needs one more skill before we go back there. I'll go back there later at some point once we upgrade his skill by quite a bit. Our construction ship is working on a frontier outpost over here in Donorama. We will claim all of these kind of solar systems here in my cursor, maybe even having access to Eden as well. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 5. Our first colony is up. Have hype for the Terrascian Union. We are spreading in the stars. Our galactic communist dictatorship is growing in power, and with increased power comes increased responsibilities. Pretty soon we will be enslaving the S20 hierarchy and sending them to work in our outposts and our frontiers. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on episode 6. Take care.